and welcome to Bharat at Cannes. We are in Cannes, the famous city on the French Riviera, where the Cannes Film Festival concludes on Saturday. And this is a special broadcast on DD India in which we get you all the action from the Cannes Film Festival and India's participation in it. So let's get started. Indian cinematographer Santosh Sivan was honoured with the Pia Ingenue Award in Cannes on Friday. I spoke to him after the award ceremony. Take a look. The one and only Asian cinematographer who's been honoured with the prestigious Pia Ingenue Award here at the 77th edition of the Cannes Film Festival is with me in Cannes. Such a pleasure to have you, Santosh Sivanji, on DD India. Congratulations.
My pleasure.
How does it feel to get the honour? What does the award mean to you? You're already a man of so many firsts. You've broken the glass ceiling yet again. So what does this honour mean to you, sir?
I think it's a very prestigious and emotional honor actually, because this award has also only been given to Americans and Europeans. So being the first Asian to be considered and honored is fantastic. I think it's very good. Of course, I might be the first, but I was also the first to be invited by the American Society of Cinematographers, of which I'm a member.
Absolutely, you are. So we've also seen you give a master class here in Cannes, and how was that experience? Because you've done so many master classes in different parts of the world already.
Yeah.
Was this different?
I've done it in England for the BBC and the British Film Festival, which was huge actually, because they do it in a big theatre. Here it's a much smaller affair, but I think the people who come there are genuinely people who are interested in filmmaking. And what I like about Cannes and all that, which I think we people in India have to really learn from, is that they respect not just the directors and actors, they also respect the technicians and the people who work in films, which I think is very important. I think we should encourage young people to actually, by giving them an importance and making them see and do something in the world, internationally, not just in India. Yeah.
So it was a great experience all in all.
Yeah.
Now tell us a little about what really drives you, Sivanji. What is that one thing that makes you so passionate about cinematography and filming?
I think I ventured into this profession thanks to my dad, who was a photographer already. And so I used to travel with him and he used to shoot even as a child. So I think what fascinated me is the fact that you can travel. You can travel and see the world, because education, basically, you might have second-hand education in an institute or a college, but your first-hand education is always from your travel and your personal experiences. And I wanted a job where I don't have a 9-to-5 job, but I could travel the world, interact with people, interact with nature, see the world, and I think one life is not enough.
One life is not enough.
No.
And I understand you have a traveling school. You still go around to different parts of the world and teach children and others photography.
Greece, Africa, and but mostly in India, especially tribal areas and all that I like going. Even earlier on, before I started out, after my film institute days, I actually did some work for Vivekananda Kendra and traveled to Northeast, Arunachal Pradesh, near China border. Teaching children. So, children, I think you learn more when you teach. You learn what the young people want.
Yes.
And today I teach also because learning cinematography has become expensive. Other than the government-funded ones like FTII and SRFTII in Calcutta, the others are expensive. So, I think people who are not so well off also should have an opportunity to learn. And to explore, because there's so much of talent in our country that it is up to us to nurture it. Yeah.
So you are still teaching, but there was a time when you were taught and you referred to FTII.
Yeah.
How were those days? Tell us about the kind of exposure your stint there as a student in FTII actually gave you towards international cinema, technology, the finer aspects of cinematography.
FTII is great fun because suddenly you find yourself with very like-minded people. And after seeing a film from different parts of the world, you get to interact with them and talk to them. and discuss them, understand, and share ideas and everything. So you realize that it is also important that your films also go there when abroad, and so that you can communicate very nicely. So I think Institute that way was very good, and they are a wonderful archive with so many films. But today's times, all these films are available in the digital platform.
Right.
So we enjoyed an advantage when we studied because those things were not there, and we had a full-fledged archives in India, which is actually a blessing, I would say, because you have to see and understand the world before you create your own world.
And there are so many alumnas of FTII here.
Yeah.
Payal Kapadia is one, and then last NF section you have Chidanand Nayak's film here.
Yeah.
Every year we are seeing almost a film from FTII in the last NF section. So do you think that this is one institution that is doing a lot in terms of giving the right kind of exposure to budding filmmakers?
Yeah, it's amazing. I feel that, and also the kind of engagement fellow institute people give. I think it's very important that we have developed a group of people who show the talent, to showcase India in a better light, and also to tell our stories, because only we can tell our stories. Who else will tell our stories? So we have to have someone who can tell our stories.
Santoshji, there's a lot of intrigue around how you approach lighting.
Yeah.
Is there a philosophical approach that you have towards lighting? Because there's so much focus on it as far as cinematography is concerned.
You learn by your travels and things like that, and you are a student of light. So you start getting up, the day starts at 5 in the morning when everything is monochromish, and then you see the light dance like Navarisas, and you pick out what you like for a particular film or a subject or a scene. So for me, light is a melody. Light and shade is a melody. And the rhythm is made by your compositions and the camera moves. So when all these together blend, then it becomes very interesting. I think for a cinematographer, like any other art form, it should be like a tree which grows upwards and downwards. Downwards, you understand from your own soil, your culture, your observations, the nature, art, everything. And the tree is, of course, the technology which is kept on growing. The technology never stops, actually. It keeps on changing at times, like the baby's hair. So you have to be up to date with both technology and with art. And also, the way you actually imbibe all this is from your own culture. Because I am actually from Kerala, and I think that I've gone through the entire history of Kerala's art and culture, which I bring it on to my work. Though it's a different form, my basis is that. So this was, of course, highlighted by the fact that when I was invited by the American Society of Cinematographers, they specifically told me that, Santosh, we have invited you because you are creating something and not imitating us, Hollywood people. So I think we have within us a fantastic library of visual arts. India is full of that. And from that we should imbibe, not from YouTube and channels, We should take it from our own culture and then see it differently our way. Then I think you will break in and connect with others.
And practically, how do you approach cinematography when you have to do a film? How do you go about it?
See, I am now directing and
yes,
shooting
you're
a film
directing
called
as well.
Zuni, Zuni is a film on the great Kashmiri poet Habba Khatun. So I want to make it just like her music, one of the most visually exciting films. So I'm trying my own thing and capturing different seasons, shooting at -14 in Kashmir is not a joke, And so I'm doing that film. And of course, another film I'm doing is Ritesh Deshmukh's Shivaji, which is starting now, which I'm shooting. So I try to do different films and different flavors. Right now I'm shooting Lahore 47 with Rajkumar Santoshi, with Sunny Deol and Preeti Zinta.
So tell
And
us a little
Shabnaz.
about your growing up years, Santoshji.
I actually-
How was your childhood? How did you first develop interest in the visual
I
arts?
studied in Loyola School, which is basically a school which actually encourages people to be doctors and engineers and all that. But I had a grandmother who used to encourage my painting and sketches. Unfortunately, she used to be teaching in the Palace of Travancore. So she would get these calendars of Raja Ravarma, and which she would bring home and illustrate it and tell the stories of the mythologies. So that was the start of my visual education, where you have to imagine a world which she is explaining, and through paintings we have to imagine. So it started off like that, and then my father, who was a very prominent photographer, and who pioneered press photography in India. So with him, I used to travel, and then when she actually used to started doing documentaries, I used to travel with him and learn so much as a child. So I think maybe I was very fortunate to have the right kind of inputs early on in my life, because I believe today that I also teach because I feel that every child is a genius, and if you promote them well and understand their own world, then it becomes very interesting for them to actually blossom.
So those were the early influences on you, but as you started understanding cinematography more, especially the various finer aspects of it, which were the greats, Sivanji, that you were looking up to, or that you were following consciously, subconsciously? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I think when I went to the institute, the person who most influenced me there was the films of Satyajit and the cinematographer Subrata Mitra. These I treasure even today, because I think their films had a timeless quality, which is very difficult. And it was not trying to be fashionable, but it will stand the test of time, which I think is amazing. Then, of course, I also became big fans of Desta Almendros, who used to use natural light, and Sven Nykvist, who used to shoot Bergman films, and Vittorio Storaro, who used to do fantastic work for Coppola and all these other people. So all these people, of course, they have not taught me anything, but I've learned so much from their works, and even works of lots of people.
Absolutely. And I was looking at your repertoire. You've done filmography for almost 60 films.
Yeah.
You have already directed 17 films. You're working now on the 18th film. So what are your personal favorites from your own body of work?
Every film that you start out is your personal. Basically, I started directing because I wanted to make films of the stories I've learned in school. So I made children's movies. Then they asked me, "Oh, you only make children's films?" Then I made terrorists. Then they said, "Oh, you only make terrorist kind of films and children's movies." Then I made Ashoka, which was like a historical. Now they're asking me, "You only make historical films." So I think you keep changing, and you somehow start learning also. So I don't make films for a living. I actually do cinematography to make a living. Directing I do for fun.
So directing you do for fun. So what made you expand your domain then from only cinematography to directing as well? You said you do it for fun, but there must have been some trigger at some point in time.
No, because cinematography also, when you do big commercial films, you often tend to create rain, create everything. When you are directing your own film, I shot terrorists in rains, real rains, So here I can, if I afford to make some compromise, I can do whatever I feel like doing. I don't have to necessarily follow anyone's any particular challenges that happen because of people's star dates and things like that. So sometimes they dictate the timing and all that. Yeah, you can do it when because for my films, one of my main characters is is nature. So I would like to film it as in what it suits me. Okay.
Right. And how was your experience filming in JNK? I met officials from Jammu and Kashmir the other day, and they said that they've come out with filming policies to incentivize foreign filmmakers to make their film in what is known as the heaven on earth, the paradise on earth. How has your experience been shooting in
It's
J&K?
fantastic, except the weather is very harsh. -14.
But otherwise, the locales must be a delight.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a bit expensive comparatively, but it is a delight to work there if you can harness the weather.
So, where do you like shooting the most? You've shot in locations across the world.
I like shooting in Kerala because
Kerala.
I've grown up seeing all that as a child, and so I feel I have much more to offer. Otherwise, I like shooting places I've never been before and explore it while I shoot.
Like what?
Like so many places, yeah, like Chaya Chaya.
Right. Okay. So there are a lot of locations it seems that you love shooting in, especially in Kerala. Like you said, a lot is changing now in the world of cinematography, filmography. How has technology really impacted the game now, and what is the future looking like to you?
Technology will always keep changing. Our sensibilities might not change. Today, with the change in technology, I would say that we can easily do a lot of films which was not possible before, because we can use AI and VFX to tell stories which are from our mythology, which might not have been possible before. So I think changes always should be embraced, and maybe things will happen for the better. It need not always be a problem for individuals because we can always adapt. And
Was it easy for you to adapt?
technology we can adapt to, use it to tell our stories better. But our sensibilities won't change. So the sensibilities will remain. So I don't think there's a question of being replaced by AI and all that. So I think the sensibilities will always dictate how things are.
Okay. Now, what is the future project that you're looking at? Are you someone who would like to challenge himself every step of the way? Every project has got to be different from the other. You said that, people keep saying you only do one sort of genre.
I like that. I like it because, you see, now I'm going to do this Shivaji, which is very interesting because I've learned it in school and I'm dying to do the film, and I have a very interesting director, Ritesh Deshmukh is also playing the lead character. Before this, I was actually shooting a film directed by Mohanlal, the actor who was acting. So these are all challenges, and now I find it also very challenging to do Zuni with Shaili Krishna, who's the heroine, playing the heroine as well as in the script. And we are shooting that in Kashmir, and we had a very good schedule. And so we'll be starting just after next winter.
I can't let you go without asking you the backstory of the Cannes Film Festival and your recognition that you've got. When did you get a call? What did they say? How did you react? When did it all happen?
They just sent me a mail saying that if you're willing to accept this, and that you have to be here to attend Cannes and get it because you have been conferred this. So I said, yes, I will do that. Then they, of course, told me that you have to have some bites from people who you have worked with, actors, of course, very well-known people. And so I have a lot of them was very forthcoming, like Shah Rukh and Amir Khan and actors and things like that. Shekhar Kapoor and Meera Nair and all these people who were very happy and proud that I was honored with this.
Will you cherish this moment forever? You've been to Cannes before, but isn't this different?
No, this is very different. The Red Carpet is very different, and I have not been to Cannes before.
Oh, but your film has come to Cannes.
The film has
You
come.
haven't been. Yeah.
I was in Sundance. That was a very good. The Terrorist was the first Indian film in Sundance. So I went there. That was very strange because when I went there, I'm the only Indian, so everyone knows who you are.
Right.
It is like how when a white person comes to Kerala Film Festival, everyone knows this guy has come. Like that. This was very good. Same thing in the American Society of Cinematography. If I go there, everyone knows that you're there. Because you're the only brown skin there.
Right. Do you think India has it in it?
India has. It's just that, see, when I was teaching in Arunachal Pradesh, tribals, the kind of school they have where they've made Gandhi like them with muscles and all that. Gandhi statue in front of the school. And the stick is raised. So I asked them, why is the stick raised? So they said, you don't know. He chased the
British away.
That's why his stick has to be raised. those kind of people. This is 30, 35 years back. Okay. So I was teaching them photography. So their dog died. So they wanted to bury the dog. So they took me to the forest, and there are tigers and all that in the forest. So they buried the dog, and then they thought that, and it was dying time. So I said, come on, it's getting nightish, let's go back. So while going back, so I asked them why they're burying it so deep. Then they said, only if it is so deep will the dog become the flower. So they believe that everything with mystery should have a blend of darkness and light, just like photography. Which I have always learned and tried to think of all these things. Then later when we were coming back, they suddenly surrounded me, drew out their sword, and they whispered and they said, sir, there are 2 tiger prints, fresh tiger. So I was like scared. So I told, what will I do? What will you do if you see a tiger? They said, we'll run fast and climb a tree very fast. Now you can't run like that and climb a tree like that. So I said, I don't know how to climb a tree or run very fast. What will I do? Then he looked at me and said, don't worry, sir. You see your tiger, you will learn everything very fast. So basically, there should be a tiger behind our people. Then they will do things much faster and much quicker and not wait for that day. That's what I would advise the young people.
What a wonderful message. And I must say, to be a very good cinematographer and director, you should also be a great storyteller, which you are. Thank you, Santosh Sivanji, for speaking to us on DD India. It was a pleasure to have you. So that was the master of his game, Santosh Sivan, speaking to us in Cannes with cameraman YK Loknath. This is Munmun Bhattacharya from Cannes for DD India. Congratulatory messages are pouring in for Indian cinematographer Santosh Sivan from the film fraternity. Take a look.
Big congratulations to Mr. Santosh Sivan, or Santa, as we call him, for receiving the prestigious Pierre Angenier Award at the Cannes Film Festival. I've had the good fortune of working with Santa very early on in my career. And like so many others, I've learned a lot from him. We did films like Dil Se, Phir Bhi Dil Hai Hindustani, and he directed me in the beautifully crafted Ahsoka. And during the course of making these films, there was so much learning from him. He taught me that genius is not thought out, it is felt.
Santosh and I worked together when I was doing my second film. It was called Raak, and I think it was his first film, if I'm not mistaken. But in any case, it was towards the beginning of both our careers, and I remember what a joy it was working with Santosh. He's someone he's a great DOP. What I love about him is that he's really good at what he's doing. So he takes, 1/10 the time that other DOPs take to get to the same place. So congratulations, Santosh, and wishing you all the very best.
I'm not surprised that he's getting this most coveted honor, the Pierre Angenier Tribute and Cannes this year, 2024. There's no one more deserving than Santosh Sivan. He truly is a genius, and he deserves every bit of love and all the accolades that are coming his way. Much love to you, Santosh, and congratulations.
Santosh Sivan is one of those rare people who has a childlike sense of wonder in his work, in his life, in his art, and in his imagery, and especially in his mind. Santosh has always been curious about the world, and the first person to say yes to bringing his art and bringing his craft anywhere that would want to be hungry for it. Santosh has always created his own path.
Now we present to you a conversation with the team that bagged the first prize in the Larsen F section of the 77th Cannes Film Festival. Take a look.
First prize goes to Sunflower.
It can't get bigger than this for budding filmmakers at the Cannes Film Festival. The team that won the top prize from India for Sunflowers were the first ones to know in the Larsen F section of the Cannes Film Festival is right here with me. Such a pleasure to have the three of you here on DD India. Congratulations. Suraj, the director of photography, the DOP, Abhishek, sound designer, and Pranav, production designer, the set designer, are here with us. Well, such a moment that was to hear the jury call out the name of Sunflowers are the first ones to know. What crossed your mind when that happened?
It took us some time to believe it. We were not expecting the first prize. We were expecting that something good is gonna happen. We were not expecting the first prize. But yeah, we are happy. We are happy, yes.
So did you freeze for a moment? Was it unbelievable for a few seconds?
Yeah, like I started clapping first of all, and then I held my head because I didn't know how to react to it. Like when they were announcing the first prize, I got a little hint from what they were saying. They were talking about night and they were talking about mise en scène. So we got a hint that it might be our name. We were just waiting for them to say it out loud. So the moment they said Sunflowers, we were...
Wow. Pranav, did you see it coming?
Yeah, after announcing the third and second rank, we were kind of... हम एक जगह पे ऐसे रुक गए थे बस सांस थाम के कि and suddenly they announced the name. Sunflower were the first ones to know, and I started crying literally.
There were challenges you told us during cinematography of the film. Does it seem all worth it?
Obviously, it all worth it. All the hard work is paid off, and not just us four, but the crew that helped us. Our faculties, our mentors, our friends, our batchmates, everyone helped us to get here. So,
how has Chidanand been since then, on top of the world?
He was not expecting this at all, and he's still in that zone of kya ho raha hai, what's happening, what's going on. So he's right now in one of the events for Last NF, and he's still, I don't think he's still got time to process what's going on.
We're speaking to you for the first time here on DD India. So tell us, what were the challenges that you faced, and was it a learning experience?
I'm still processing this thing over here. So during our shoot, it was done in last year, and I'm very grateful and thankful to those people who worked with us from our institute, the students of FTII, and especially those people from that village जहाँ पे हमने shoot किया था. मैं उनका भी आभारी हूँ.
Tough competition or learning experience, or both?
Both. All the films were so amazing here. I mean, every film had their own, the taste of, like, the director came with their own culture, own stories, and yeah, we were shocked that every film, how can, like, every film was so amazing that because of that, actually, we were not expecting we'll get anything.
Suraj, Kannada folklore has made it to the global stage. Were you as convinced about the story as he was, or Manoj, the editor, was? Because he told me last time that it was his idea and also Manoj's idea, and that this story has stayed with him since childhood. So were you all on board on the story?
Yes, I mean, this was the only story that we were all on board. We had, in the beginning, we had 10 ideas, and this film was the last one. Then we shortlisted to 5 ideas. This film was the last one. We shortlisted to 3 ideas. This film was the last one. We always wanted to make this film, but we were kind of having that, will we able to do it here? Because production-wise, execution-wise, that was little difficult. But yeah, I'm glad that we made that decision and we made this film.
Your message to all the fans. There are so many people excited now seeing you on television. The winners of Last NF.
Just dream big. At least dream. I mean, dreams do come true, I feel.
So dreams do come true. What a message from the winners of the first prize of the Last NF section. The whole country is proud, and we hope this is just the start of India's winning campaign at the 77th Cannes Film Festival. With cameraman YK Loknath, this is Munmun Bhattacharya from Cannes for DD India. That's it in this edition of Bharat at Cannes. We'll see you again next year with all the action from the Cannes Film Festival and the Indian camp. Hope you liked our coverage of the festival this year. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.